That's okay. That was my fault. Yeah, I'd muted, yeah, Ben can't hear anything. Hopefully that's okay now, Ben. Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, that's all good. So nice one, Ben. Thanks, buddy. Okay, yeah, go for it. Sorry, Jeff, you pick it up. Sorry, mate. Ben's saying you're muted. Why are you muted? Let me just double check. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be nothing coming out of for you. Ah, I tell you what it is. I know, I know. Hold on. Do you know what it is, Ben? We are just trying a slightly different system. We're trying to link YouTube to GoToMeeting, and I've just worked out what it is. So it's because it's broadcasting my mic, but it's not broadcasting internally. Now let me just see if I can change that. No, I can't do that one. Right, we will. Right, let's see if we can do something here. So we'll do a quick test, Ben. I think I need to see if I can broadcast Jeff through my system. So we'll do a few tests. Jeff, give me a uh, give me a 1-2. No, right, try again. You just keep talking, Jeff. I'll see if I can find you. Yeah. Do you know, mate? I can't get you. I can't get you. So because I can hear you in my ear, but GoToWebinar is only broadcasting my mic. It's not broadcasting what I'm hearing. When you change presenter, the only thing you can do, but should we post up a link? Yeah. How do we get that? Yeah. Okay, you send it to me. Do you know what, Ben? I will post it here, and you can click on the link because this is no bad thing actually. You know, this it's not awful that that you can only hear one of us, but yeah, the only way that we're going to get around this is if you don't mind is coming in to GoToWebinar because we're trying to get away from this broadcast system because it's just not very flexible. Um, so we're trying to broadcast GoToWebinar through YouTube, but it only will broadcast one of us, which means that it will broadcast what I'm seeing, but you know, certainly by this token, it won't broadcast the sound, and that's the only issue here. Yeah, well, Ben's on an he'll honest enough to tell us. Yeah, so I'll send you a link, mate. And you can join us on GoToWebinar instead. I think YouTube is only really to kind of funnel people through anyway, so it's not a major hassle, but it just means that only one of us will be heard at any one time. Yeah, it just won't I don't know how to broadcast. I just tried. I did link on a few different things, but it'll only broadcast what I'm hearing. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. No, well, you can put it in Skype, and I'll post it onto the YouTube. Yeah. So whether this is the answer, mate, I don't know. Yeah. Right, here you go, mate. This is the link you need, and you can join us in the room. I suppose one good thing about this is it means that we can close. If what, sorry? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Shame we can't put a banner on it, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I suppose you could, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, mate. Well, sorry, you carry on. FTSE 100 is continues to ease to the upside, which is not too palatable to watch. Yeah. Okay. I already closed this off once. Right. Hopefully you got that, Ben. Yeah. Yeah. You wait for Ben to go in. Yeah. What were you in last night? Yeah. Oh, you were short. Oh, you were long, were you? Oh, great. Okay. S- Yeah, you must have closed when that started to tank to the downside. Why was that coming down like? Oh, I know. I know what that was about. Well, we had Jerome Powell coming out and saying that that the Fed were quite happy to potentially move on the interest rates. Oh, he can't see the link. Why can't he see the link? Just in the chat room, chat box. YouTube. Okay. Can't see the link. Shouldn't be this hard, no. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Yeah. Right. Oh, is it? Yeah, because I get crashed out quite a lot. Right. Right. Yeah. No, can't do too much, can you? We sorted? Oh, we open. Okay, great. Hopefully that helped my trade out. No, this is the thing. Um, yeah. So I was just sending. On EuroCAD? Mm. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Interesting, really. It's interesting that you start with that the lower line rather than just using the trend line and the shooting star there. Because that would be still a valid thinking process. Would it not? When you kind of like you have a trend line, as you say, you got the shooting star under the weekly pivot, people entering there and looking for the short, as you say. But would that yeah? So that why is the lower line that you've drawn? Why is that so significant? The 23rd of May and the 30th of May. Why does that add significance? Okay, okay. I see. I see. I see. I see. Okay. Okay. Really good, mate. I love that. I mean, is there is there a flip almost of this trade that you end up looking for the second half as well as the first? I mean, how often when you see that hammer, not the hammer, sorry, the shooting star, how often does that give you an indication of the prevailing trend, or a prevailing move? Oh, sure. No, John, it's not that you can't hear anything. It's because you need this link. So come and join us on GoToWebinar. Hopefully that's right, is it? Come and join us there, mate. Or there should be a link just above that looks better. I don't think that link that has just gone in looks that good. Can you see the link above? I'm not sure why this is given a weird load of numbers there. Let me know if you got that, John. There's a link. Ben says okay, and then you see Ashley Ball put in a link. Oh, you don't? Where did Ben get it then? Can you not see me posting there at all? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Can you post in there? Why can't I post in there? No. You need to click live chat. Oh, there you go. Top chat. Live chat. Good man. Okay. Yeah, so if you go to live chat. Mind you, my last thing wasn't in there. Stop motion Hunter Valley. Yeah, if you click on live chat, John, and you will see the link just under where Ben says okay, and then I've put a link in. Ashley Ball just put a link in to GoToWebinar. But I'm not sure why I didn't. Let me just test this as well. Test that. Maybe I've got my privacy settings or something. Okay. There we go. Sorry about this, John. We're just trying something slightly different now, a different way to run this system because we're not too happy with how Google seems to work. Right, I am keen, mate, to hedge. I am just okay. Let me share my screen. I'm just it's just whether I can get my price. Now this is much earlier than I normally would hedge. Yeah, no problem. I think it's this one. Just going to double check which screen you guys are seeing. I think you're seeing the right one. Yeah. Okay, so currently we've got a short here. I've got a short in the market here. Now, this was going to be a little bit concerning for me anyway because of this 4-hour chart. Slow me down if I go too fast. So now we've broken out of this area. This is starting to look like a little 4-hour uptrend, and that doesn't look like it will be abated. If this area up here gets taken out, then we're probably going to the next level, which is probably up here. So I'm just waiting for a little bit of retracement. Let it come back a little bit. Hopefully, I'll get in. I may not. If I don't get in, I won't. I won't chase it. I'll just let it go. And look at this area here. I'm just looking for a little bit of retracement back into this area, and then seeing if I can go long and just go with the current trend. What happened initially was that yesterday we broke down. So I was trading on this, but subsequently, the market has managed to kind of it continued to move higher, but it did come down, but it hasn't broken down. And just as Jeff has said, really, this is kind of probably quite similar to what Jeff would look for in the slingshot. When people see this bar, then they probably look to try and get some an entry underneath it. Mind you, in saying that, they wouldn't have got entered in, or maybe even under here. But the fact that this bar is starting to move to the upside means that um, there will be traders now looking for the long. The slight issue is that this is only the first hour, and this could turn into a reversal bar. And if it does, then the hedge will be taken off. But for right now, this is looking a little bit squeaky for me. I'm not too keen on how this chart is starting to look. So I'm just seeing if I can get some sort of retracement back into the range here of the 15-minute bar, and I will just quickly see what likely retracement I would get. Right, so we are having to look at this on a shorter term time frame now. On the 15, if I check the fib on this one, then it kind of leads us back down to, if it's a 50% fib, then that's going to lead us into this price. I'm not sure if it's going to come back there. So let's look at the 38%. So we're looking at around about 72.33-ish. But let's check that on price. Well, looking at this, it could come back a little further. I'm just going to check the 1-minute chart as well. Okay, maybe there's the 36 is a bit much, isn't it? I think we might have to use this 38% retracement area here and hedge along there. So I'm just going to wait for the market to come back here. As I say, if it doesn't, then it's a little bit too lofty for my taste up here. So I won't be trading that. Bit overbought on the 15 anyway. So it could do with having a bit of a retracement. Let's have a look on the 5. Yeah, 5's also looking kind of overbought up here as well. So not really too palatable for me. I'm just going to quickly check the news as well, just to see what that would suggest in the way of direction. What's that, buddy? No, we haven't. Let's quickly bring that up now. Just see what might be shaping things here. German factory orders came in better than expected, so that probably. We're looking at your chart. That hasn't given the euro too much of a boost. Kuroda speaking later on. Mark Carney is coming out later as well. That's interesting. Monetary policy statement from the Eurozone. I thought, yeah. So we got Draghi later on as well. You see, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Well, I won't worry too much. You know what? I'm going to try and get into this trade if I can. I'm going to try and enter. I think somewhere around about the 30. Yeah, somewhere in about there. It might end up being a little bit higher, 32 or something like that. I'll try and enter here. If I don't get that trade in the market, then I'll leave things alone, because Draghi coming out may well either give me another entry or switch things around a little bit. So I can sit and watch this to a degree. Um, but just the way that this is looking, this market is kind of itching to get through this area, and the problem is, without any kind of retracement, it's going to be very difficult to get into this, even though there's not too far between. Without any real retracement, it's going to be a little bit too dangerous to get in here. But it does. There's an air of um, uh, I suppose trigger a finger going on here, and it just appears that the market wants to kind of like explode another leg to the upside. Certainly, looking at downside, it doesn't seem to be an option anymore, and I'm not looking to go short anytime soon. What I'd really like to do is just to get a little protective hedge on in the market, and then see if the short reappears at some point. But certainly for right now, the hedge is the only possible option here. And I very rarely hedge this early, but I think that just kind of goes to show how I feel about this market, and it is that I feel that this is it just wants to explode to the upside. But the problem is with that is that they don't always come back and give you another opportunity on the first time of asking. So might have to let this one go. I was hoping to get the hedge on, mate, but it's just twitching. It's continuing to twitch to the upside rather than coming down. So I don't think I'm going to get what I need here just yet. That's the last port of call there. Oh, I was just asking about the lower level, but you explained that. Uh, yeah, I was just asking whether that lower level was significant. I mean, I think it's such an interesting, it's such a fascinating and interesting strategy that you employ. Um, but I suppose the thing with it, it's quite no, it's no wonder that it's so has such a high probability, because your entry is going to be, as you say, above where people are going to be putting their stops. The first stop. Mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Was there um was there any news, or what made this particular trade explode like it did? Oh, sorry, I know that. I know the answer to that myself. It No, do you know what it was? It was data. There was a data point yesterday, because I was watching it myself. It was I mean, check the times for me, but ISM non-manufacturing, which came out much better than expected. That was at that'd have been five o'clock MT4 time. 5 o'clock MT4 is a bit like GMT. So it's the new universal time we follow. Oh no, that could be, yeah. Uh, yeah, 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 yeah. So that's expectation that yeah. And I mean the bar itself was. No, your trade is where that trend line is, isn't it? Yeah, 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 yeah. So interesting that the sellers were looking to come into the market, but actually that the anticipation was that those numbers would maybe come out positive. So the buyers came back in, and they were absolutely correct on it. So more buyers started to flood into play after that. Um, I don't know whether that's got any kind of correlation to the trade whatsoever, but interesting that might be another part of the story. I don't know. Hmm. Yeah. I mean the move down. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, do you know what's interesting? Because of the way you've been talking about that, when we look at this FTSE 100 trade or chart, this is a 5 minute chart, and just looking at this on the hourly here, what we have is our hourly resistance point. In actual fact, I'll just change the line that we're looking at. So we got this level of potential resistance here. Maybe might even be a little bit lower, sort of like line of potential resistance there. We flip to a 5 minute chart. Um, Probably have to put it on there, and we get this shooting star, similar kind of look, a little tip above, and then we get the shooting star. So effectively, what you're saying, mind you, this wouldn't have tipped in. I mean, is that one of the stipulations that the shorts have to be kind of brought into the trade before the long happens? Because the yeah, okay, so the orders wouldn't have been triggered here. Hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting. Um, are you aware of the new trader we have, Chris Laurie? Oh, very, very interesting, and I think you'd really appreciate some of the stuff that he talks about, because he talks about liquidity pooling and where there is a buildup of liquidity, and that's almost similar kind of language to the in the way that you use it as well, in where you're thinking about it. Where are people looking to trade because they know that there are these liquidity points. Um, Completely different, entry methodology, but similar in the way that you kind of look at the market. Hmm. Um, well, oh yes, he will. Yes, 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 he will. He is going to Bali. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You should, mate. Yeah, you should definitely sit down and have a nice scotch with him. I think you'd find him a fascinating character, and I think the two of you could exchange some really good ideas on the market. Yeah, yeah. I agree, and also it's a little bit of a case of the method fitting the personality, isn't it? And that's really what it comes down to, because I really like the way that you look at the market, and actually what it ends up doing is kind of shaping my opinion slightly differently. But it's still I'd still kind of enter the market and manage it in a similar way as before. It just kind of it just expands your vision, if you like. I think when you speak to somebody else that has got oh, quite a lot. I mean, we got Julian, Ainsley, I think is going to be there. You're going to be there. Paul, obviously. I guess PH and Chloe and Shirlene and Lloyd, and I mean, I think there's about 10 or 12 people going. Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, have you? Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah, Mikey explained it to me. He kind of he gave me a little overview when I was last out in Singapore, and he was explaining it to me, and so I went and put the same things that they've got on their on their charts, and started looking at it. But again, man, I couldn't get it to work. I was like, hold on a minute, I've got lots of setups here, um, but yeah. Yeah. But they don't take all those traits. So there's something else to it, I think. I think you just maybe probably need a bit of guidance. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. Yeah, well, no, do you know the thing the yeah, well, I know what you mean. I mean, it's a difficult thing, isn't it, with indicators, because ultimately, the indicators really express what the price is doing, um, and I find it difficult. But then, I used to be an indicator. Well, the price is done. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? And I used to be an indicator trader. I used to be a complete advocate, and I still am to a degree, because it does work. There are times where the indicators are really shouting out at you, and it means that you can trigger in a trade. But the problem with it is that if you wait for them, well, in my opinion, anyway, if you wait for them for every single trade, then you miss loads. There's really really good trades that you can get into the market, and waiting for those indicators to set up just won't get you in. And this is case in point. Are you still on my screen, by the way, or are we on your screen? You're just going right. So this is case in point. When I look at this, um, I really like the RSI. As an indicator, and the RSI, just to sort of like give a vague kind of overview on it, then an RSI trade would be something like, let me see. This one here. So let me just make sure that's right, actually. Just about. Now, when you look at this, or when I look at this here, down here, what I want to see is an RSI kind of changing direction on a trend. So if that was my level along there, similar to what you would do with a trade line or a trend line, I'd want to see that matched with RSI. So when I look down here, then I try and draw my lines in a similar kind of place, and the trigger for me is when the RSI and the price both cross. So here, when price is crossing under the trend line here, it's very, very small, but it's crossed there. But it's also giving me a little indication on the RSI just there. So that would be a trade for me to the downside. That's a really nice setup. So given that, that means that I'm waiting for price and the trend to go down and back up again. Now, if I do the same thing here, then I'm really then going to have to wait for RSI to come all the way back down to this point here. In fact, I can use my pen on this, which is pretty useful. Can I use my pen? Where's my pen? Oh no, it's on your screen. Sorry, mate. There we go. So my pen. So yeah. So for this to work out now, I would have to wait for RSI to come back here, rest, and then look for the upside. Now, looking at this, that doesn't look too likely to me. What looks kind of likely, what looks more likely, if it's to happen at all, is that this does provide something of an area of resistance, and price comes back here fairly quickly and then would go. But I don't think the RSI is going to match it. I think the RSI is probably going to, move, but not close there, because that's what it needs. The RSI would have to rely on this hourly closing down here for the RSI to rest down here. That doesn't look likely to me. I think what's much more likely is that we probably remain up here, maybe even explode a little bit further to the upside for this hour. And it looks like now the best possible price I'm going to get is this one, but this hedge is looking much harder now to try and get on. And the point is that the indicator just will not be able to get me into this trade, and this is going to have to be pure kind of spit and sawdust, kind of looking at the price, looking where I want to try and get in, trying to ascertain where price might come back to, and forget the indicators, because the indicator is my bar, if anything. And I suppose that's where you can always argue that you are getting indication, because the bar provides the indication as much as anything else. The trend line breaks and everything else. But if price is being expressed by this bar, we don't really need to be too astute. We don't need to be a Steve Nissen kind of student to understand that this is incredibly bullish. And we should be going long in this market. In the next hour, if possible, in the next 15 minutes, if possible. Just as soon as we possibly can, we should be going long, regardless of what the indicators are saying. And that's my problem. So that's my issue with indicators. The indicators just don't give us that, and this is why, for me, the most important indicator of all. I suppose the only thing with this is that that this is getting to overbought territory. So the suggestion, that's the one thing it would do, is keep me out of a trade. And that can be problematic in itself, because that could embed to the upside. But what this is starting to suggest is that this is getting too lofty to trade, and some element of pullback is yeah, it's required. I was going to say likely, but that's not true. But yeah, it would be required to see some element of pullback before I got into this. It should. Yeah, it absolutely should. And when I look at these on all the short term time frames, then they are expressed with this is now starting to form divergence here. So these is where I think indicators are useful to take a trade, because an indicator does this, that, and the other, and another somersault. I think is not very clever, but or not very useful. But I think to use the indicators as what they are, which is an indication, then that's absolutely fine. This for me does not. Yes. The momentum to the upside does not match where price is going. So it kind of increases the likelihood that we get a move back down again, and then it's just trying to find the area that may happen. Um, you know, but divergence. It's not a hard and fast rule. It just suggests it. So it indicates it. But we got that 1 minute chart is suggesting that the move to the momentum is moving is slowing. The 5 minute chart is embedded up here, which is just indicative of an incredibly strong market. And when it gets embedded, and this is the thing, and this is the mistake that some people make, is that when the indicator embeds up here, it loses all power and all use. Yeah, all bets are off. Yeah, because it's got to stay within its range. As soon as it kind of like splits above this range, it's just indication that the market is far too strong or powerful for the indicator to still be in play. So that's the 5 minute indication. The 15 is also embedded up here. The 30-minute chart is getting fairly close to oversold. So when we're starting to look at these, then these still become important. They still have a part to play, that the price is in comparison to what we've had with momentum prior to this. It would suggest that it would need some easing to the downside, but I suppose this is the problem, is that you get moments like this, and when the market does get overbought and keeps going, that's really the best kind of market to get into, because it means the market's moving. And this area here is case in point. This is coming down, and the momentum indicators are coming down. Momentum indicators become over sold down here, retrace just a little bit, and then they just embed. And that's the thing, you get these little retracements and then just embed. So to think the market is, all of a sudden along in this area is, again, a mistake people make when they see an indicator do this. They think, right, time to go long. That's just not the case at all. It's just an indication that you can't go short anymore. That's what it's saying. Don't go, too dangerous. Not you can't, too dangerous to go short. And then you're just looking for some other indication, and divergence that we see here. Get rid of these. The divergence that we see here, you see between this point and this point, and then price is coming down, actually did trigger another move to the upside. But just in the same way that you can squeeze any Fibonacci line into any kind of bounce or retracement, it's a little bit like that with these indicators. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, I really like it for that extra bit of confirmation, um, because it does tend to provide it. Because there are people that are watching it, and similar to when we're trying to find those points of liquidity. Yes, yeah. So with this current move in the market, interestingly, Um, on a 4-hour chart here, if we pull these fibs up, then there's no way that I would have just kind of considered the fib 23.6% retracement with a fib holding out as an area to trade with. But maybe looking over here, that might have been enough. It wouldn't be kind of my flavor particularly, uh, but the fact that it's kind of like given us an extra area that it bounced from is it starts to kind of like make you think that fibs do work. But I think the issue with it is that these lines are pretty close together, and they start getting closer when if the market starts to dive any deeper. um and if we look at this one here, and the problem is that then you start getting into, well, it's close enough. For example, here tips above the fib slightly. So it's a Fibonacci level, tips above. I mean, yeah, it does kind of like stop there, but that tips above the level. And then we got the next one down, the next leg down. 50%, I suppose you could argue with. That's about the close prices. That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. I think you have your price, and then you put down and see if there's a fib there, and if there's a fib there, it might give you a little bit extra confirmation. Um, but aside from that, it's not really something that, like you, that I'm watching so closely that it's going to define where my price levels are, because you can see them. When you picked out that bar that you had earlier on, you can see that that's where people are trading from and to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, good point. Yeah, 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 yes, yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. And actually, as time's gone on, I've embraced the pivots a lot more. It's not something that I was really that bothered about before. I was kind of much more interested in price, which is a much. I was just going to say it's not a bad thing. I don't think, because they've almost added to an area of confluence for me. Um, mm, mm, yeah, 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 yeah. 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 Well, the market is almost done now, mate. We're 2 minutes left, pretty much. Wow. There's do you know what? We didn't even go around the grounds with the slingshot, did we? Which we probably. Do you want to quickly do that? Okay. Let me now make sure. Yep. You put your screen on. Oh, so that's the significant of there, is it, down the lower end? You're kind of looking at some hint. So you wouldn't look at that if that was continuing, if you didn't have that high low down there. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Well, right now. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Mm. Right. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think you're sensible. Just kind of enjoying the profit and waiting for another opportunity. As you say, they don't happen that often, or often enough probably to warrant thinking it might just jump out in the next day or so. But you never know, as you say. There might be something out there. From my point of oh mate, yeah, yeah, mm, yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, as you say, it is chalk and cheese. That's trading, isn't it? It's just you can't really 1 month to the next. It doesn't really give you an absolute kind of picture of the way the market moves. Which is why I always think that 3 months. You need at least a quarter of trading to really kind of understand whether what you were doing is right. Um, Now that's really a year is when you really understand it. But I think if you can say for 3 months, what you've been doing is right, you understand it. Not that necessarily that you've been profitable, but at least that you understand what's happened and why it's happened. Then you are starting to kind of get the feel of the market. But I think you need at least 3 months of that before you can really run away with yourself. And as I say, even then you do need to be sort of like kind of cautious. So I am waiting for this hedge, and the market is just starting to show signs that the move to the upside could be weakening somewhat. I'm going to show you my screen right now. This is what we have here. Is we've had an explosive move now to the upside on this on the hourly, which is really it's the right chart to see it on. I was quite happy to enter this on a shorter term time frame. I considered it at 72.34. We're now at 72.55, but it was just moving a little bit too fast for me to get on board. Um, so now what I'm looking at is this 15-minute chart, and I am seeing just a little bit of weakness up here, but I'm not sure how far it's going to come back. So I'm probably going to have to go in earlier than I would have liked. I'd much prefer to get this price down here, but it does look a little bit too strong for it to come down there. So I'm probably going to look around about the 72.38 level, which is not too much higher than I would have got in, would have wanted to get in, but somewhere in this area here, somewhere on the top end of that bar is where I'm going to look to hedge. And then I'll just see if the market can kind of give me some form of direction. Not too far in between the 2 points. It's going to be around about 30 pips or so between the 2 points, depending on where I get in, which isn't too disastrous. And if I don't get in here, then I will switch my strategy and just look to flip another short in a bit higher, because that is the ultimate sentiment that I've got. So I'm flipping another short here, or I'm going to try and go long to that point if I can. So this is still my area regardless. I'm still looking in this particular point here, which is around about looks about 50 pips above where we are now. I'd like to get those 50 pips if I can. So I'm going to get that long in the market if possible. But there's every possibility that just doesn't happen. Now, if that doesn't happen, what that is suggesting is that the market is just too strong to get in. However, that is also indicative of a market which is going to go up and all the way back down again. So I won't mind if I miss it. I either get my price, or I look at it in a completely different way, where this bar just ends up becoming a little bit more exhaustive, and I look to enter another short at around about 7,300 or something like that. So that's the plan, mate. Fairly clear to me what's going on. Yeah, yeah, it'd be fine, mate. It'd be fine. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I've got much more much more work on than I really would have desired. But the plan's there. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, half the battle is making sure that you've got the right plan in place, and it's not like I'm looking at this going, oh no, what am I going to do? So it's no major drama. Great stuff. All right, mate. Yeah, let's do it all again next week. Same trade time, same trade channel. Do you like this system with GoToWebinar? Okay. Okay. Oh, what on YouTube? You mean? Because you're not the. It would do if you were also a broadcaster. I think if we were both, if I invited you in fact, let's do a quick test. I'm just gonna invite you along. Oh, I did. There you go. So if you come in, you see the reason that it's almost better this way is that we don't have that annoying thing where the screens flip back and forth while, you know. Because isn't that how we get on YouTube? Don't you need Google Hangouts to broadcast? Um, um, I don't know how else to broadcast on YouTube. Oh, I know it's a pain, isn't it? Sorry that you have to. You don't have to stay, Ben. I mean, we have just wrapped it up. We're just going to do a little test of this technology. So if you're joining,
now I've got an echo.
Oh yeah, no, we got the echo. Oh well, that's because this. You still got an echo?
Nope. No, that's good.
I've got an echo on my end. Can you mute? Can you mute your? How's that going to work?
Mute the Hangout one.
You mute.
When I'm not talking. Okay, I'll mute Hangout now.
Okay, great. All right, so you're muted on GoToWebinar. Okay, but if you mute on Google Hangouts, then you're going to be muted on the YouTube, aren't you? So there's something's got to be muted because you get a little slapback delay when they're both on. I don't know what the answer is, mate. I don't know what the answer is. It seems to work with one of us as the broadcaster. Because now you can share your screen, right? I mean, that's the thing.
Well, sorry, hang on. Oh, no, I'm okay. Yeah, I can do that, and that's good, and I can use the pen.
I've got a slapback again.
Yeah, you would, because I've got both microphones open. But as far as this is still very cumbersome and messy.
Yeah, it is.
Because you got to go, oh shit, what do I have to have online? What do I have to have open? It's very, very messy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Okay, Angus.
I'm gonna close GoToMeeting.
Okay.
Yeah. So
now we're exactly where we were.
Yeah.
aren't we? Really?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
And Angus is exactly where he is, as you can hear, I'm sure. Angus, go out. Go on, out.
Oh yeah, it's tricky, isn't it, mate?
Just dead. So you can't broadcast to YouTube unless through Google Hangouts. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
think so.
understanding?
I think
Right.
that's
Well,
true. Yeah.
there's your problem straight away.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to this bloody monopoly bullshit. They'll only let you use their own software.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
That's life, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. We just have to accept that, won't we?
Welcome to Wonderworld.
Yeah. Okay, mate. All right. Well, no worries. I don't know what you want to.
It would appear that go-to meetings are a waste of time. Because it adds another level of, okay, I've got to have this open or I've got to have that
that's
open.
Right. That's right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't want to think that hard on a Thursday night, mate.
No, I know what you mean. And the problem is a go-to meeting. I mean, it's better in this way that you can just see the one screen, but the problem is that I can't, people can't hear you. If we could get that bit sorted, it wouldn't be such a problem. No, there's not. There's not. So that's not the answer, mate. But yeah, so I'll get James to cancel that.
Yep, not working.
All right, dude.
Nice idea, but
yeah.
Unless he can sort that issue out, but it doesn't appear he can.
No, I don't think so.
Thanks, Google.
Yeah. All right, buddy. You go and enjoy yourself a nice beer, and I will get cracking with whatever. We're going to go and enjoy a nice whiskey, and I'll see if I can get managing with this trade.
All right, mate. Good luck, and
all right, thanks,
have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, whoever's listening, and we'll catch you next week.
See you later. See you soon, buddy. See you later, guys. I think everybody else is gone, but if they are there, yes, we'll see you next Monday.
Hooroo.
See you, mate.